You thought you were safe. You thought you were sound, just when you thought you could close your eyes and lay your head down to sleep. They come! The army can't stop them. The Marines, helpless. The Navy and the Air Force are paralyzed with fear. Even the newly designed hydrogen bomb is powerless against them. From beneath the suburbs of Kissimmee, Florida, they rise, they attack, they destroy. Save your children, ensure your rides are of good quality, because you don't want to face the critics. Starring SurferClock as Mega Deathatron and TAP-G as Trogdor the Beninator.
We begin our story as the result of a nuclear fallout.
Yeah, we get it already. The stick's sold. And by the way, TAP-G, Trogdor? Really?
What? It's a name of inherent epic awesomeness.
You got it off a Homestar Runner.
So sue me.
No need. I think Strongbad's already emailing his lawyer. Hi again, folks, and welcome to What's the Attraction?
Where our work is your vacation. Frankenstein's monster.
Dracula.
Werewolf.
Mummy.
Gary Busey.
Universal Studios has been a prominent name in Hollywood for over 100 years, and its greatest legacy is with the creation of those classic horror movie monsters. But whether the monster is played by Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney, or Boris Karloff, there's one critical factor needed to transform these gentlemen into beasts of our nightmares.
That's right! Top-of-the-line CGI. Utilizing the latest in computer wizardry, these creatures of the night come alive thanks to the best in digital software. Without computers, turning these men into monsters would have been an impossible task.
TAP-G, we're talking about movies that came out 50 years before computers were even used in movies. Back then, they used the wonder and magic of makeup. From the period prior to Pixels, we give you Universal's Horror Makeup Show. Younger listeners are growing up in an age where it's becoming easier and easier to create strange creatures on a computer. The Na'vi from Avatar, Gollum from Lord of the Rings, Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, and Jar Jar Binks from Phantom Menace. Now, these characters may have been played by a flesh-and-blood actor, but are fantastic creations courtesy of companies like Industrial Light and Magic. The goal, as with any film, is to render the most bizarre, yet lifelike creatures the imagination can conjure up. We Generation Xers grew up on movies like The Abyss and Terminator 2, and that epic wildebeest stampede and The Lion King. Such things had never been before attempted, and the industry skyrocketed.
However, in the 1930s, when many of Universal's great horror flicks premiered, if you wanted a 9-foot-tall, blue, feline-like extraterrestrial with dreadlocks and loincloths and could plug its hair into trees like a USB port, it had to be done by hand. Like Terminator 2 or The Abyss, the effects may be kind of obvious and hokey now, but back then, it was a game-changer.
Are we hating on CGI? Not at all. But the art of costume and makeup is fast becoming a lost art compared to the cost, time, and money efficiency of digital software, and the greater realm of opportunities. This makes us all the more appreciate this underrated gem at Universal Studios. The show was inspired by Universal Hollywood's The Land of a Thousand Faces, and despite numerous title and theming alterations over the years, the show's focus remains the same: to educate the public in an entertaining manner on the use of makeup and effects in cinema.
Show hosts Alex Ross and Mark James, or Marty James if it's a woman, show their enthusiasm and zeal for the great tricks and innovations used in making these groundbreaking costumes and effects. While today many of the tricks they showcase are easily replicated in do-it-yourself kits at the Spirit Halloween store every Halloween, they were once a unique and closely guarded secret by the legendary Jack Pierce and the incomparable Lon Chaney. It's difficult to fully articulate the story since there isn't much of one. Alex and Mark banter and kid throughout the show as they display the film's clips, props, and more blood than a donor bank. Fake blood. Fake blood. I think.
There's jokes here far too many to count. They keep them coming, and a lot of them are pretty hefty singers. Compared to Disney's Jungle Cruise, where the jokes are meant to be gentle, timeless, and corny. Since Universal isn't exactly concerned with the family-friendly wholesomeness, the jokes come off as harsh, timely, and actually kind of funny, without feeling like they have to pertain to focus groups. As Mark says to a kid at one point, "This isn't Disney World. I don't have to be nice to you."
Have you ever noticed how most of the masks they have on display at the show looks like a rogues gallery of retired Scooby-Doo villains?
Oh, that reminds me. Don't go up in the attic. I was up there last week and I bumped into the ghost of bad internet critics.
The ghost of bad internet critics?
Yep.
Jinkies. Looks like we better solve this mystery. time to call in our large, cowardly, gluttonous, yet lovable talking dog. What? You listeners out there didn't know we have a large, cowardly, gluttonous, yet lovable talking dog? Well, guess what? We have a large, cowardly, gluttonous, yet lovable talking dog. Everyone, meet Dougal.
Hi, SurferClock. Hi, TAP-G. I'm scared. What's for dinner?
Hang on a minute. We still have to discuss and rate the show.
Okay, what's your personal opinion on the show?
My personal take, I can't get enough of this show. I really enjoy it very, very much, quite a lot. For one of the most important things to me is a show needs to treat its audience intelligently. Mm-hmm. This definitely does it. Being that it's talking more to the preteen and teen crowd, I think it doesn't have to try and talk down. It doesn't have to go through the basics of what makeup is. It gets right to the subject, and it doesn't go off that subject. Mm-hmm. Not too often, anyway. There's a great balance between all the fun facts that they give and appropriate comedy. Well, not appropriate comedy, great comedy.
Yeah.
Most of which is, it's good, and it's slightly inappropriate, and as we've mentioned before, Universal can kind of toddle that edge without going too far.
You try doing that at Disney, and heads will roll.
Yes, they will. Now, let's talk a little bit about the hosts themselves.
Okay.
They're funny, they're engaging, and they know they can kind of play off the punchiness of their audience.
And what's hilarious, too, is that it's not always the same people doing the show, and yet they still seem to turn in great performances.
Not only that, but you can go to a show in the morning, and yes, there's a great show there. You can go to a show at night, and it's still pretty dang good. Sometimes you can even see the differences, kind of the subtle differences between the performers.
Bottom line is they all bring something unique to the table that makes these characters really shine.
Definitely, definitely. And I feel like I can go in there and I can still pick up maybe one or two new facts that I hadn't seen before. Mm-hmm. Now, while most of the shows go along the same theme, they are still unique, individual, and different shows. Mm-hmm. Part of that may have to do with the audience participation portion of that.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really like.
Yeah, that really brings it to a whole new level of interactivity.
It's a unique moment for that family that gets to experience that, or even just, that couple, that group, whatever. Yeah. In my opinion, overall, it is a must-see show. Mm-hmm. You gotta see it. And they give you plenty of showtimes to come and see it. Sometimes as many as 12 or 14 in a day.
Wow.
I mean, of course, that all depends on operating hours, but definitely take the time, go to see the show. It's fantastic. TAP-G, what are your thoughts?
Well, here's one of the things I love most about it. When Universal Studios opened, it was meant to be a real working studio that showed people the behind the scenes of making movies. And this is one of the last few relics of that era.
Yeah, everything's kind of like movie rides and shows.
Yeah, and let's be honest, it's all great stuff, but, I still want to learn about the movie industry, because without the movie industry, we wouldn't have Universal Studios or the Disney parks or anything like that. So, enjoy this, hopefully, while it lasts. I don't think it's going anywhere, is it?
No, I haven't heard anything about that. I mean, there's too many shows and it's still too popular. Mm-hmm. The show we went to a couple months back was a little sparsely populated, but that's just because it's a slow season.
I just don't want to see it go the way the Country Bears is going at Disney.
Really?
Yeah. The humor is amazing.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe because it's somewhere between, perfectly acceptable family humor and yet really risky stuff you would hear most comedians on stage would say. It's smart, it's intelligent, it's witty, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to lob a softball at the guests. They really hit them hard, and they're funny.
They are.
And there's pop culture references that make sense.
Unlike with some other shows.
Sinbad, cough, cough. I mean, what was that one joke where they said Lon Chaney didn't pass off his anti-aging secrets to his grandson, Dick Cheney? I love that.
I'd actually forgotten about that one. Thank you for reminding me.
The only problem I have with the humor is that, yes, the informative elements are fantastic and they're there and they're prevalent. Sometimes it takes a back seat to the comedy. So, unfortunately, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But I still remember, Jack Pierce, and I still remember Lon Chaney, and I still remember that awesome model they have of the American Werewolf in London. They have the head where they show it's transforming into werewolf, the snout sticking out, and that's all done with machines.
Yeah.
And So this is really a tribute to the days prior to computers.
It's funny you should mention that because there's actually, this year, 2013, Halloween Horror Nights 23 actually has an American Werewolf in London haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they use that same sort of model in the actual transformation sequence they have in the house,
Mm-hmm.
but if you see the way they use those puppets,
Yeah.
whew, I can see why you might not want to go to that event.
Yeah, I'm going to continue my search for those dust bunnies.
Good stuff. Good thinking.
Overall, I give this a 4.5 out of 5. Amazing show. I will definitely return. Check it out again and learn more stuff if they promise to stop using all the fake blood.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm good. Sorry, folks. 4.5 out of 5 from TAP-G. Whew.
And actually, for Surfer Clock, I'm going to have to go ahead and give this a 5 out of 5, a perfect rating.
Woo!
I think this is probably my favorite themed show in the entire industry all across Florida. This is my favorite show. Now, okay, that's a 5 out of 5 from Surfer Clock and a 4.5 out of 5 from TAP-G.
I'm the ghost of that internet critic! Booing stuff! It's the ghost of internet critics! I'm hungry.
Zoinks!
Oh, look, it's a giant zombie.
I'm a giant zombie made by Dr. Frankenstein who sucks your blood under the light of a full moon! What the hey? Hey! Get me out of here!
I made a trap years ago for Frankenstein's were-vampire zombies. Looks like it finally came in handy. Oh, wait, you're not one of the sparkly kind of vampires, are you?
Please.
TAP-G, why don't you go unmask our perpetrator while Dougal and I wrap up here?
On it.
So, since this is a show, there isn't any of those hefty ride restrictions we usually go over. Assistive listening is available, and parental discretion is strongly advised. There's plenty of gory, albeit fake, effects, and the monsters can be pretty freaky looking. And though far from scary, the show can get a bit sudden and intense at times. There's plenty of surprises.
Who would enjoy it best?
Well, it is a great show, but definitely for the preteen and up crowd. If you can hold your stomach for some of the particularly gory effects, you should be fine. Otherwise, it's funny and fresh. I have to check it out every time I go, and always encourage others to come with me, especially those who haven't seen the show yet. So if you like good, fresh humor, or you really want to learn more about the great legends who gave us cinema's greatest horrors, check it out. And speaking of great horrors, how you doing on that unmasking, TAP-G?
Yeah, really? Say, whew, this makeup's on good.
Maybe it's not really makeup. Ever think of that?
Come on, Reese, we know it's you. Just take off that makeup.
Can't. Jack Pierce helped me put this thing on. Took him 4 hours.
Reese, cut that out.
That's not me, man.
Wait, if you're here, and that's there, then that means... Uh-oh! It's the real ghost of bad internet critics! Musical chase montage!
Nobody's gonna get this reference.